Your girlfriend loves teasing you in the most unimaginable ways possible. Well, actually, it is unimaginable because you don't have a girlfriend. This manga is called Sakurai Wants to Be Noticed. Part 2. Yes, there's a part 1. Go and watch that. In part 1, Mako went out to go do some shopping and coincidentally met Sakurai, his crush and friend in Tokyo. They both went together to go do the shopping they needed to, but instead ended up going on a date. She said that he should ask her out on a real date since they had only met coincidentally. Back to the present. Later at Sakurai's house, she was on her bed waiting for Makoto to message her, or call her or something, staring at his profile picture, like she has nothing else to do in her day, like maybe watch a few TikToks, since she asked him to ask her on a date next time. I mean, technically, Sakurai could just ask him. But anyway, Mako, contemplating whether or not he should message her, accidentally calls her, and it's then he realizes he's messed up. She answers the phone, and her cleavage takes up 50% of the iPhone screen. Honestly, I don't mind, but YouTube does. They were on my case last video. They then realized that Mako accidentally pressed on the video call button instead of just voice calling, so he took this opportunity to secure a couple screenshots. Sakurai tells him to look the other way while she's putting on her clothes. Mako apologizes for his actions, while Sakurai scolds Mako for doing a video call without telling her. Although she could have checked before answering, Mako is satisfied with it himself, and so are we. She goes back on the call, sadly dressed this time, and little embarrassed. Sakurai asked what he was video calling for. Mako was busy admiring her hair. I mean, I would too, but now isn't the time. Screenshot it for later. She calls his name, and he asks her about what she said previously, which puts a smile on her face. She said she wanted to go somewhere with him. Mako already forgot where she wanted to go. Typical dense male manga character. Mako asks if it's a specific place, and she says it's the same place he wants to go. He wonders if it's a king-sized bed or a maid cafe. He finally figures out it isn't inside her bedroom. It's the beach. He gulps and finally puts up the courage to ask Sakurai if she wants to go to the beach with him sometime. She accepts and tells him to look forward to her swimsuit. But I'm sure you guys will enjoy the swimsuit more than him and the plot of this manga. Mako's face lit up with a smile on his face. They say their goodnights. He sighs, looking back to his calendar, not believing that he finally was able to go on a damn date after 6 chapters of agony and teasing from Akinosora. Mako arrives at the beach, waiting for Sakurai. He still doesn't believe that Sakurai might actually like him. Even though she told him to invite her, he just doesn't want to be trolled. He thinks no way that's impossible. He thinks no way Sakurai just ran into him.
Yapping about, dude. Let's fucking get out there.
After Mako's rambling, Sakurai arrives in the bikini that Mako chose in the store, and well, damn. He clenches his bag, thinking about how she's giving mixed signals, like any other girl I've met. Wait, why are you laughing? I've talked to women myself. Mako tells her that she looks better than he imagined. She smiles and pulls him over to the beach so we can finally get the fan service that you've been desiring. Here's a sneak peek, by the way. Makoto sets up the umbrella. He hears a couple doing suspicious activity near them. He looks up and, he sees a woman getting sunscreen massaged on. While staring at the view, bro couldn't hold back his no-nut November urge. Sakurai asks him what he's looking at, about to stab him with the umbrella he placed nicely right behind her. Makoto tried to explain himself, but it was too late. Sakurai banished him to the shadow realm. Disappointed, she told him since he finds that so fascinating, he can put some on her. The sunscreen, of course. Mako blushing, staring at her cheeks. Body. Wait, they both sound as bad as each other. Anyway, he was thinking that that's something only a boyfriend would do. As he was about to respond, she was joking, making Mako's heart come back from the shadow realm. He tells Sakurai not to joke about stuff like that. While she's laughing at him, she asks him to blow the inflatable up and tells him to do his best, like she's asking him to beat Usain Bolt in a race. She turns over and smiles at him, which motivates him to pucker up his lips and blow as hard as he can. As you can tell, he's very experienced in this topic.
Oh no! Gringe!
Sakurai makes Mako play in the water like he's a dog. Mako looks up. A wave of water engulfs them. Wow. Anyway, he asks if she's okay. Sakurai was clenched up right behind him. Giving pillow contact to his back, Mako apologizes to her, and she asks what he's apologizing for. He doesn't respond. Mako calls her name and, yes, fan service page, of course. He thinks that if she keeps this up, he'll end up thinking they're in love. Mako just isn't getting the signs. Holding hands with a girl who isn't a family family member is a love language. They were sitting at the train station, looking at the sunset, talking to each other, talking about how much fun they had. Sakurai thanks Mako for inviting her. He says the pleasure is his. Sakurai says being with him is so much fun, making him blush. He says he thinks he had fun too. Sakurai responds with, "You think?" About to tie the hairband she's wearing and wrap it around his neck, John Wick style.
Go to bed for lesson 3.
He quickly rephrases what he said to make himself sound more sure, although I think he preferred the bed option instead, accepting his second answer. Sakurai looks over at the sunset. Makoto admires her beauty. Mako tells her it would be great if they could go there again. Sakurai, hearing what he said, just looks at him. He startles, realizing what he said, and tries to change it up. She smiles and replies that it would be nice. She grabs a hold of his hand and gets a little closer. Sakurai says they should come back together again. I'm loving this fit right now, just saying, making Mako blush. He calls her name, and a train passes by. Sakurai can't hear a word he's saying because of how loud the train is. She apologizes for not hearing what he just said, but like that scene in Ralph Breaks the Internet, we'll never know.
Tame those things.
It's simple, Serge. The key to parenting is...
And then what you do is... And that is the secret to raising perfect children.
Because he was too embarrassed to repeat himself and just says, "It's nothing." Sakurai tells him in that case, "Hurry your ass up and get on the train. Summer is over, so you know what time it is."
Wakey, 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 it's time for school. Come on. Wake up, it's time for school. Come on, man. Are you ready for school?
As Mako is walking to school, he's thinking about how he couldn't ask her out again. He's excited to go because he gets to see Sakurai. Walking into the classroom, he sees her with her friends. They're talking about what they did over summer vacation. Sakurai turns around and sees Mako standing in the doorway. That back strain is insane. Don't worry, I'm not gonna scream this time, okay? Maybe just this one time. Sakurai goes back to talking with her friends again, Mako blushing suspiciously at the doorway. Class started, and Mako couldn't do anything but stare at her for the entire hour. He noticed that Sakurai looked really pretty. He believed it was probably because he fell in love with her curves. I mean her. The teacher tells everyone to go home and not mess around just because it's half day. In the end, Mako couldn't talk to Sakurai the whole day, so Sakurai came to talk to him instead. She asks what he did after they went to the beach, but they both didn't actually do anything after that. Sakurai sits on the table and tells him she noticed he was staring at her all day. Mako says somehow something has changed about her. Sakurai tells him he's sharp and says to him there might really be something different about her today. So she asks him what's different about her today, going in so close to his face that they can feel each other breathe. She says it should be pretty easy to figure out. Mako struggles to get any words out of his mouth, so Sakurai tells him she'll give him a big hint. You may be wondering what could the hint possibly be. She goes up to his face and shows him her lips. Honestly, a very wide opportunity to steal a kiss right about now. I mean, I would. He starts blushing, thinking about it. Mako, sweating buckets, stutters out the words, "You're way cuter than usual." There's dead silence for a moment. Mako realizes what he just said and starts panicking and attempts to defuse the situation. Sakurai is completely red, staring at him, speechless. Mako doesn't know what to do, so in the end, he apologizes for acting so strangely, quickly leaving the classroom to go home. She wants him to come back. He runs down the hallway, avoiding the awkwardness. Sakurai falls to the floor, blushing and also sweating buckets. Sakurai always seemed so confident, but in reality she's just as shy as Mako, maybe even worse. Sakurai trembling, can't even form a smile. She's acting like me at 6 years old when I was told we can go to McDonald's and get a Happy Meal. She walks back home with her friends and asks her where she bought the lipstick from. This is the end of chapter 8. And since you're still here, why don't you watch my other video? I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Bye now.
You know what?